Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second annual State of the Lakes Area event. We are very excited to have you here, and we have some great presenters waiting. We are just going to give some of our attendees another minute or two to join us. So please continue to be patient, and we will start in a couple of minutes. Thank you. I have to share with you, I had my, I brought some Post-it notes from home, and underneath my top note is a little note from my teenage daughter. We just said, "Hi, Mom, I love you." So that was pretty sweet.
Our attendees will appreciate hearing that. So. I think we should kick her off, Terry.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second annual State of the Lakes Area event. I am Terry Foster, and I am with the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation, and I assist with donor services. We are very excited to have you here. We have a great lineup of presenters that are going to be sharing a lot of information about the area happenings today. If you have any comments throughout or questions throughout the presentation, please go ahead and put those in the chat box, and our moderator will share those questions, and we will have those answered if we are able to. And if we're not, we will get back to you with information from the presenter. This will also be recorded and will be available via our website and also our Facebook page. And we will share this link. So if you would like to watch it or share it with others, we appreciate that. This morning, to get us started, I would like to introduce Mary Jetlin, and Mary is our BLACF, our Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation Board Secretary. She has been on the board since 2013, and she is a seasonal resident here and a great resource for us. So thank you very much, Mary, for helping us get this event started and kicking off today's event.
Thank you, Terry, and thanks for all of your hard work putting this together. I know what sounds simple never is. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for joining us. We discussed canceling the event this year, but we felt that due to the pandemic, it was more important than ever that we communicate with each other during these strange times. I do live in the Twin Cities, but I've been coming to Brainerd since 1963. And my husband and I bought a home on Gull Lake in 2001. I joined the foundation after our family established a fund through the foundation in memory of my brother. He had moved to Brainerd full-time and had become very involved in the community. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time on the board and becoming more involved in the Brainerd Lakes area. I do sometimes joke that I turned my play town into my work town, but I don't regret a thing. It has been wonderful to learn about the many exciting changes happening here. It has also been very rewarding to see how the impact of the foundation has been able to have such a big effect on so many organizations and individuals, and our ability to connect resources to critical needs, especially during the pandemic. It's really been heartwarming to see the quick action that we were able to take and the organizations that have been able to benefit from that. One of my personal goals is to engage our seasonal residents in the local community as well. I believe that we can play a bigger role going forward, and I believe that we are an important and valuable resource to the community. And so we started State of the Lakes as one way to communicate what's happening in the area to our summer residents. I found out personally the importance of knowing the capabilities of the hospital when our son shattered his femur wakeboarding on a Sunday night. After a frantic call to our family friend, Dr. Baker, we were informed that we were in good hands with Dr. Schmitz, who was on call at the hospital that night. There's actually a lot of information that's helpful to have as a seasonal resident, but it's not always readily available. And I don't suggest you try to find it on the back of a wakeboard boat at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. I especially want to thank all of our presenters today. I know I learned a lot last year, and I'm excited to hear all of your updates. And thanks again to all of you for joining us. Whether you are a seasonal resident or a full-time resident, I encourage you to get involved locally. You will be glad you did. I'd like to introduce Carl Samp, our Executive Director, who will give a brief overview of Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation and go through the agenda. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mary. And I'm very blessed to have Mary on our board of directors. Yep, this was Mary's idea last year to start this, and we really appreciate that. We think it's a great service to our community, and we want to welcome all of our seasonal neighbors back up, and glad to have you here, and look forward to meeting you at some point in the future if I haven't already. I'm seeing several familiar names on the list, including some of our donors, and we appreciate all the support that you've provided the foundation as well. So thank you for being here, attendees, and especially thank you to our presenters for being willing to share information today. So you can see the agenda there. We've got a lot in store for you. You also saw it in the agenda, so we're not going to go through this step by step. So if we could go next slide, please. Thank you. Next. We're going to give you a brief video to give you some background on the foundation, and then I won't have to talk about it as much. It's just over 3 minutes, so we'll go ahead and get that started.
A foundation. It's the underlying basis or principle, the load-bearing portion of a building, and a foundation is an entity that supports charitable activities by making gifts and grants. Support in private foundations usually comes from a single donor, a family, or a corporation, while a community foundation garners its support from a broad range of sources. Individuals, companies, government entities, and other nonprofits believe in its work and support its growth year after year. It's a hybrid with givers of all sizes. Our local leaders had the wisdom to establish a foundation in 1998. The Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation now provides innovative ways for residents and businesses to give back and support key projects in our area. It's managed by a 13-member local board and has assets of many millions of dollars and growing. We are now teamed with St. Cloud, Wilmer, Alexandria, and Carver County as an affiliate of Community Giving, a nonprofit foundation which manages well over $150 million in funds. This allows our local foundation to increase its efficiency and leverage the power of the gifts they receive. The Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation exists to help shape the future by engaging people, connecting resources, and building community, as well as attracting, managing, and distributing charitable gifts. Since 1998, several $1 million have been granted to charities from foundation funds and through donor funds. Both unrestricted and donor funds are vital to the work of the foundation. One of the primary functions of the Community Foundation is to build and manage a permanent endowment to meet local needs. This is accomplished by helping potential donors understand those needs, identify projects they care about, and determine how their gift can make a difference. It does not encourage the support of any one charity, but as a neutral entity, it can assist donors in attaining their charitable goals. The Community Foundation works with donors and their professional advisors to structure and plan gifts that benefit both the community and the donor. Another role of a community foundation is supporting local nonprofits. Most gifts given to the foundation are really gifts given through the foundation to the desired cause. The foundation acts as an umbrella over all nonprofit organizations that are working diligently to build a stronger community. Some examples of giving through are gifts and grants to the Brainerd Baxter Youth Center for the Girls Who Code, PCs for People, and the Bicycle Recycle Projects, to Junior Achievement Company Program, where students learn entrepreneurial skills by starting an actual business, to the Crossing Arts Alliance for the Mark Munson Rock Music Summer Camp, where youth learn the business and performance side of being in a rock band from mentors, to the Brainerd Lakes Area Newcomers Club, which offers fun events and activities to help build a social network for new residents, to Bridges of Hope for the Self-Healing Communities Project to reduce, prevent, and address adverse childhood experiences, to the Brainerd Family YMCA for the Summer STEM Camp for youth, to the Lakes Area Music Festival for its annual classical music, opera, and ballet concert series and outreach events provided at no charge, making professional classical music accessible to everyone. The Community Foundation has 6 types of funds for donors to work with: an agency fund for schools, nonprofits, and churches; designated funds that donors can name a specific charity; a field of interest fund such as education, healthcare, or our Women's Fund; donor-advised funds, much like a charitable checking account, allowing the donor to vary their gift to several different charities; unrestricted funds that can be used for general grant making; and scholarship funds in which the donor can make higher education available for individuals. As a donor, you get to decide what is right for you. A community foundation is often called a three-legged stool, a term that reflects its role as a fundraiser, grant maker, and community leader. The Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation adds a stable fourth leg to that stool by helping generous people change lives and communities through philanthropy. Your community foundation is your resource to give back to your community, the place we all love to call home. It's your foundation, supporting us all. A foundation.
Great. So that gives you some background on who we are. You can see we're part of that larger organization as it talked about community giving. It's like a cooperative, and the mission of the organization is to engage people, connect resources, and build community. And then our intent is to empower community foundations everywhere. And we do that through a community giving day workshop for community foundations. We have an online chat and idea center that people can provide ideas, and we're also doing some other work with online webinars now that are valuable. So as it said, we started in '98. We have a 13-member local board, of which Mary serves on. I see Lisa Haberman is also on the call. She's on it. We have we had over 15 million in assets and 104 funds as of December 31st. The correction has dropped that a little below that now. We've made over 5.6 million in grants since inception. I like to say we help make philanthropy easy in the Brainerd Lakes area, and we also help generous people change lives and communities, and they can do that anywhere in the U.S. With any U.S.-based charity. So that's who we are, and without further ado, I'd like to take this time now to, well, just a second. We do have an annual event. It was scheduled for July 9th at Grandview, but we had to postpone that because of COVID-19. And every year we recognize our heroes in philanthropy in our community. And this year we've named Virginia and the late Kenneth Merrill. And they're up in the Cross Lake community and have done some wonderful work there. And then we're also honoring 2 legacy heroes, Millie Geertsen and Linnea Anderson, for their impact that they've left after their passing through their charitable gifts. So we've moved that event to September 22nd this year, and we encourage you all to consider attending that. Hopefully we'll be back at Grandview next July again, but we're gonna have a smaller event this year at Cross Lake on the 22nd. So you can watch our website for more information and sponsorship opportunities. Okay. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Peter Henry. Dr. Henry is the Chief Medical Officer for Essentia Health, and he's going to share some information about the services that Essentia offers. Dr. Henry, thanks for being here, and you're on.
Thank you, Carl. When we talk about healthcare today, I think one thing that's been on the front and center of everyone's mind is regarding the COVID-19. I've been fortunate enough as the Chief Medical Officer to actually lead our healthcare system and in the incident command in response to COVID-19 across the 3 states in our very rural footprint from northwestern Wisconsin all the way across Minnesota and to eastern North Dakota as well. And we've been doing care. We have done a lot to try to provide safe care and access to testing. And here's one of the examples of our testing camps that's right at our Baxter campus here in the Brainerd Baxter area. Go to the next slide, please. We've also instituted very early on a 24/7 assessment hotline for COVID-19. Anyone that can access through our website regarding concerns, and also a toll-free number. It's very important that we have people that are very knowledgeable. We've been fortunate enough to help and assist and support other organizations in our community. We were able to help Bethany Good Samaritan with their healthcare outbreak and be able to help them test over 250 staff and residents within less than 24 hours. That would help to mitigate the number of people that become infected. And we've also collaborated with the Brainerd School District as they formed screening and COVID response to their protocols. And have you go to the next slide, please. And the virtual visits is one of the things that we're very proud of. We had talked about launching virtual visits before the COVID pandemic, and we were kind of doing a soft launch in late February, early March. But because of the pandemic, and everybody expected healthcare disruption to come from retailers such as Walmart and CVS Pharmacy, et cetera, it really came as a result of a pandemic. And from the inception of when we first did our first virtual visit in March till now, we've done over 160,000 virtual visits in the last 3 months in all areas, including primary care, behavioral health, mental health, substance use, orthopedics, obstetrics, physical therapy, heart and vascular, and more. We've had over 1,200 primary care providers, as well as physician advanced providers, APPs, doing as many as 60 specialties are participating. Your health and safety matters, and one of the concerns that's happened, we've seen across the country, is that people are delaying healthcare because of concerns about their safety when they come into healthcare facilities. We've done, I think, an amazing job of trying to hopefully communicate to the community that when you come into our facilities and seek care, we don't want you to delay it. We know that emergency medicine visits are down. We know that health maintenance visits are down, cancer screening down, and we've done a lot of things to try to ensure your safety and the community safety. And have you go to the next slide, please. So how we're keeping you safe. One of the things that was developed as part of the Incident Command, which I have been leading, is a checklist. So when we start with our virtual visits, that's one of the key things. If we can keep you at home in your safe environment there, we can do video visits, and much healthcare can be done that way. We see this as the future. And even as we have opened our ability to do face-to-face or in-person visits, we are pushing very strongly the continued use of virtual visits. We found that from feedback from our patients that this is really a desired thing. One of the key things we're also is advocating from the state legislature about funding for broadband in more rural areas. We're masking everyone, including the staff, patients, and visitors. All of our direct patient staff have face masks as well as face shields, and we require masking of all of our patients and visitors as well. We're screening all of our employees, patients, and visitors every time they enter the building, and that's done at all of our entrances. And if you go to the next slide. We have hand hygiene protocols in place. These were in place a very long time. We've actually been a leader in hand hygiene. We've been following this as a way of avoiding preventable harm. We have social distancing and redesigned common areas to ensure appropriate social distancing. And one of the key things around social distancing is trying to develop techniques that would keep people from having to wait. So people can check in from their mobile devices. We're doing a lot of registration and pre-screening prior to them coming, using alternative methods other than the paper method we have done before when they come in and have to answer questions. We've also redeveloped, and we're looking at how do we mix virtual visits with face-to-face visits to keep the number and amount of time that you come in. So you would actually come in, get directly into your patient, into the room with the physician or the APP, and have your visit. We do deep cleaning between each visit, and then obviously at the end of day. And we've expanded our testing capabilities so that we're now currently testing everyone who comes in for a scheduled or elective procedure or surgery as well. And we want to keep people safe, and we help them to quarantine. So we've been very fortunate that our testing capabilities have been quite good in this comparatively to other providers in the state. The other thing that we've done is expanded our curbside pickup in our pharmacies. We have 22 pharmacies now. All but one of them have curbside pickup availability. And the other thing that we do for people who are on blood thinners or anticoagulation is that they can actually be tested in their car and get their information and monitoring their blood thinning in a very safe environment as well. I'll have you go to the next slide. We believe in award-winning heart care. Essentia Health as a organization has been awarded many different designations. We have a gold star status in 2019 for blood pressure recognition program. We have capabilities of complex coronary intervention, structural heart disease, heart failure, electrophysiology, and we're involved in many clinical trials. And one of the key things is about prevention and wellness, which we think is obviously the most important, is that we can keep people from getting sick. There's some terms there that people need to know, but TAVR is a transaortic valve replacement. You can actually have your valve replaced without having an open surgery, and similarly have your valve repaired with a mitral clip. Have you go to the next one, please. Similarly, in orthopedics, we've been providing great orthopedic care, as was alluded to early and I thank you for the shout out to Dr. Smith, who is now retired, but we have an excellent orthopedic bunch here at this time. And along with the great care that we get in heart and vascular, if you can go back to the previous slide, if you could, please. We have a number of different physicians, Dr. Michael Rich, who leads our non-invasive cardiology, Dr. Lisa Abrams, who is an interventional cardiologist, Dr. Mike Malaris, who's an electrophysiologist, and we have a physician's assistant nurse practitioner, Britta Kolodzi, and Amanda Carroll, as well as Ann Meyer, who's a nurse practitioner who works in pacemaker clinic. And go to the orthopedics. We have been fortunate to have a strong orthopedics presence in our communities, doing total hips and total joints. And we've resumed some of those surgeries now in our facilities. We have the importance of we've recruited a hand specialist now. She is a phenomenal surgeon and a great person. And her name is Ashley Nord. She's board certified in obviously orthopedics, but also hand specialist as well. Have you go to the next slide. We are fortunate that we're opening up a new clinic in Pine River. We've had a presence there for over 20 years, but we're opening a brand new clinic this fall with the pharmacy. We want to bring care close to home. In that, we will have a broad range of some other specialties that will be available, and we're really enhancing our ability to do telehealth and telecare and virtual visits in that facility as well. And have you go to the next slide. We've been actively recruiting for new providers. One of our goals is to continue to provide care close to home. We recognize that we have one of the oldest counties in the state, and we are committed to trying to keep people close to get their health care. Dr. Michael Curran is an interventional cardiologist who has developed a cath lab and previously worked at the Naval Institute over in San Diego. He'll be joining us in July. Dr. Broadband is a pediatric specialist in August. Dr. Jennifer Jew is an advanced imaging cardiologist who is a non-interventional cardiologist, but she'll be joining us in August of 2020. Dr. Tegan John is a hospitalist, and she'll be joining us again this summer. And Amanda Redding is a nurse practitioner in psychiatry who will be joining us in 2020. And we were fortunate that we've also recruited another urologist who will be joining us in a year from now. And we're excited about that. And his name is Dr. Gates Cook. And in closing, we want to thank you. We couldn't be more proud and be part of the community who is supportive and comes together to meet the local needs. We partner with CRMC to ask our community to help us fish for 5,000 cloth masks for our patients, teammates, and our visitors. That's been exceeded. We've had donations from local businesses and individuals of everything from meal deliveries to cloth masks to face shields to N95 masks. And I want to thank Carl Samp and the grant from the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation. Our volunteer services have been able to provide buckets of cheer for care packages for our staff who are obviously very stressed during this difficult time. And then next slide, please. We want to just remind everyone that we're safer together. We want to thank you as a supporter of the Brainerd Lakes Chamber COVID-19 safety campaign, Lake Country Cares. We thank you and all the business who are implementing safety measures to ensure that we are truly all safer together. And I would just ask everybody to remember and remind to wear your mask when you're in public. I see adherence in some facilities and business to great social distancing, hand cleansing, and mask wearing. It's still one of the most important things we can do to keep each other safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. We are so fortunate to have you at Essentia Health and St. Joseph's Hospital here in our community. We know that's one of the key factors when folks are looking where they want a second home or a retirement home, is what's the quality of the medical care in that community, and we're blessed to have you. So we appreciate that. And also, if you have inclinations to support health-related activities, my counterpart and friend, David Jeremiason, I see he's on the list of attendees, so hi, David. But David's there to help you with any philanthropic goals you have around the healthcare for Essentia and St. Joseph's Foundation. So
Thank you.
Dr. Debbie, thank you very much.
We appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Next up, we've got Paul Primusberger. Paul, did I say your name right? Probably not.
Primusberger, yeah. And it looks like there's a G. There's a G missing in the spelling there.
Okay, I worked at CLC for 9 years, so once again, another thing we're very fortunate to have in our community is a quality 2-year comprehensive community college. So, Paul, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Carl. I'm really happy to be speaking with all of you about Central Lakes College. I've been at Central Lakes College for about 5 years now, and actually I had lived much of my life in the Twin Cities, and so my family and I moved up about 5 years ago, and we love the Twin Cities, and we very much love the Brainerd Lakes area. It's been a great fit for our family, and we've really appreciated the strong sense of community, evidence of which a lot of you are seeing here and very familiar with. So happy to join you all. There's our motto there, we build futures, and there's you can go ahead and advance, that's fine, yep. There's some of our staff. That picture was taken on our Staples campus. So you can imagine if we had to take that picture now, we'd probably need a panoramic lens to safely distance with everybody. But we do also have a Staples campus. That's about 30 miles away from Brainerd, and we have programs like machining and agriculture and robotics, diesel program. And then about 3 to 5 miles from that, we have what we call our West Campus, where we have our heavy equipment program. So it's like 300 acres of sand, where we have all sorts of great big, dump trucks and bulldozers and all sorts of equipment. So we actually kind of have 3 sites where we educate students. The Brainerd campus in the Brainerd Lakes area here is certainly our main campus, where we have most of our programs. You can advance. So there's just a, kind of a promotional shot of some of our students. I know a number of those students, and in fact, I know all those students in person and by name. I believe a number of them are student athletes. We have a great athletics program here. We have men and women's basketball, we have women's volleyball, we have men's baseball. So we just have a lot of great programs here for student athletes. We're really proud of that program. Sometimes I give presentations to national groups all over the country, and I'll have a slide like this, or I actually have a slide that includes a great shot of students paddleboarding in the Cuyuna Lakes area. So, it's taken in June, it's green, it's lush, the lake is beautiful, and, I get oohs and ahs when I show that slide. And then, to national groups who, of course, think about Minnesota as a frozen tundra, then my next slide is completely white. And I say, that's the same scene in January. And then I advance to the next one in February. And that always gets a lot of laughs. But, we've really discovered that there's a lot to do in the winter months here, too, in the Brainerd Lakes area. So it's really kind of a 12-month great place to live. So you can advance the next slide. There's kind of a breakdown of our enrollment. You can see that we are a comprehensive community college, meaning that we have liberal arts courses. Those would be kind of your general education courses in English, math, biology, chemistry, physics, etc. And typically students who are taking those courses are looking to get their Associate of Arts degree with us and then transfer to a 4-year university. So you can see that's roughly about 2/3 of our students. And then about 1/3 of our students are in our career and tech ed programs, meaning they're in our welding program, or they're in our diesel program, or they're in one of our ag or horticulture programs, our nursing program, dental assist program. And these programs either offer diplomas or certificates, and these are for students who are looking to, right after they graduate with us, go right into the working world. And so we have a lot of great programs in that way that offer students of all ages the opportunity to get that diploma or certificate and then be employed right after graduate, and in many cases even before. You can see, our main feeder schools there. We're a regional campus, certainly, and our top 10 feeder high schools are typically within like a 65-mile radius of our campus. We do a significant number of PSEO students, meaning these are high school students who take classes taught by our faculty either on campus or online, and then it offers them both high school and college credit. And then we also have a really awesome college in the schools program. That means students take that high school course at their high school, and it's taught by a high school faculty who's been credentialed through us, is qualified to teach that course. And again, offers them both high school and college credit. So every year we probably graduate, somewhere around 100 students from our high schools who are getting their diploma and their AA degree at the same time. But even if they don't culminate in that way, those credits transfer to a higher institution that they might want to go to. So it's an awesome benefit for students and families in the region. You can see we're a fairly young campus. 68% of our students are young like that. We have almost 40% first generation students, meaning these are students who are the first member of their family to go to higher ed. We have kind of a balance of full-time and part-time students. And we do get 12% of our students are students of color. So we really value and appreciate that kind of diversity. And you can see that's significantly above the students of color percentage in the area. So we really make sure we want those students to feel welcome on campus and welcome in the area. So we do a lot of work around that too. And then of course you see our foundation awards a big number of scholarships to students in the area. Okay, you can go to the next slide. That's our mission statement there. We work very thoughtfully and intentionally on our mission, values, and foundation. That guides our work no matter what we do. So that makes frequent appearances whenever we're at strategic plan meetings. And it's really, really important to us that those pillars, advancing innovation, inspiring learning, and transforming lives, is really at the heart of everything we do. You can go to the next slide. And part of that is awarding scholarships to students. The foundation is really an incredible group of people, alumni from CLC who are in the area or not in the area. And the scholarships they award really make an impact in our students' lives. It allows them to go to school frequently. A lot of our students are working, they have families, so it helps cover costs that would otherwise impede their education. So we're really, really proud of our very active foundation. And you can see that recently we began operating student housing in 2018. And those are apartments that are just at the west end of our campus. They're called the Parkway Apartments. And so many of our students live in those apartments. And the kind of nice thing about that design, especially thinking about this fall, is that in those apartments, students have their own bedrooms that they can lock the door or shut the door on. So even in this time of COVID-19, we're opening up our housing. We feel we can do that in a safe manner for students. And we're also opening up the campus. We plan to be open in the fall. Students can come on campus to take courses. They can take kind of hybrid courses. We have a number of really great options for students where it kind of blends the live interaction with also some online work. So really, no matter how safe students are feeling, we have options for them. And they're not just purely online. Some are purely online, and that works really good for students, but a lot of students need some sort of live interaction with an instructor, with other classmates. And we have a number of course options that offer that to students as well. So we're really excited to present those options to students and have an active and vibrant fall here at Central Lakes College. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Even if you're not a student at CLC, though, there are many ways to connect. You don't have to be a full-time student. If you're up here for the summer, a number of our students take maybe 1 or 2 classes online or through one of the hybrid methods I mentioned, and those credits then will transfer to whatever four-year university they might be going to. And of course, you can always take a class just for your own interest, for your own learning. We have a visiting student status, which really expedites the whole admissions and application process. So if you're up here for the summer and you want to take a course, we really encourage you to look to us to help increase your lifelong learning. But even if you're not a student with us, you can see there are a number of other ways to connect with us. One of the best ways is we have a really robust performing arts program here at Central Lakes College. We offer a number of theater, music, other cultural events throughout the season. We're still keeping those up even in this virtual world, so please check out our website for more information on there. A number of community members will walk our campus. We have a really nice campus with excellent sidewalks. We have a great natural prairie component of our campus that's fun to walk through. And we also have indoor walking paths as well, but probably would recommend the outdoor ones more so now. Anybody is certainly welcome to come in and enjoy lunch in our cafeteria. Prairie Bay operates that. They serve excellent food. We have poetry series. We have an art gallery that shows exhibits. We have a number of cultural arts series too. So folks who have experienced life in other countries often come and speak and talk about those experiences. Those are a lot of fun. And then of course our Raider athletic events, basketball in both men's and women's, volleyball. We also have football. Women's softball as well. And really our sporting teams are championship caliber teams. So you really get to see a high level of skill and performance. Our coaches are awesome. So those are really great events to go to. And then we also have kind of our Rosenheimer Center forums where people can talk about politics and cultural and social events. And those get a big audience as well. So you can move to the next slide. So thank you everybody for letting me present. We're thrilled to be just a critical part of this community. We have students and faculty and staff who are very, very customer service oriented. We pride ourselves on being a full service university and work with a large number of students to make sure they reach their educational goals. So please contact us anytime. We're here to help and support you in your educational future and just in the community at large. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate your being here. And as I said, we appreciate Central Lakes College being a great asset in our community. And I just want to let you know that also if you have an interest in supporting a young person starting that higher education track, there is a Central Lakes College Foundation as well that my friend Janice Sjogren operates. So that's another way you can support young people in our community. So thanks for that work. Next up, we're going to see a video from Brainerd Public Schools. And I just want to say that, I've raised two daughters here, my wife and I, and we've been very blessed to have the Brainerd Schools with them. They're both very successful professionals now. And just to tell you how good our schools are, a few years back, the U.S. Department of Education named 8 blue ribbon schools in the state of Minnesota, and 6 of those were in the Brainerd district. And that's how good it is. So if you do move up here and you want to have the kids closer, just know they're going to get a quality education. And now there's some incredible updates to the facilities, and one that we're most excited about that you're going to hear about is the new Performing Arts Center that's going to open up next year. So Terry, you can start that video.
Warm summer greetings from Brainerd Public Schools. I'm Corey Reynolds, Director of Community Education and Communications for the school district. Thanks, Carl, for inviting us back again to this meeting to share with you all what we've been doing over the last year. Thanks to the generosity of district taxpayers who approved the Blueprint 181 Long Range Facilities Plan referendum in April 2018, we have been keeping contractors very busy upgrading our school buildings so we can be ready for education now and into the future. While distance learning was not our first choice for the shape of education for our nearly 7,000 students this spring, it did allow construction to ramp up much earlier than expected since the buildings were basically empty. Work on building a brand new elementary school in Baxter and upgrading Harrison and Nisswa elementary schools is ahead of schedule and anticipated to be ready to throw open those big, beautiful, brand new doors to staff, students, and the community later this summer. We can hardly wait. During the last week in May, we were thrilled to begin most of our Wave 2 projects. In a very sanitary and socially distant way, we celebrated the breaking of ground at Garfield, Lowell, and Riverside Elementaries. We hope to start on the newly named Warrior Early Learning Center in what is currently Baxter Elementary in the early fall. Another big, exciting project that is moving right along is Brainerd High School. This includes the 1,200-seat Regional Performing Arts Center. As you can see, it's really starting to take shape. Watch this brief video from the spring of what's been going on there. If you get a chance while you're in town, be sure to drive down 5th Street after you've gotten some coffee from Cocoa Moon and a baked good from Naughty Pine Bakery and done a little shopping in downtown Brainerd. Check out the high school site, which is always buzzing with activity and changing daily. That Performing Arts Center is scheduled to be completed next spring, while the rest of the high school will take about another year or so to complete. More information and pictures of the project can be found on blueprint181.org. Thank you so much for having us and enjoy your meeting.
Virtual thank you to Corey for that. We appreciate that. And once again, we're very blessed to have those schools and a great superintendent in Lane Larson here. So we're really excited about that Performing Arts Center opening next year. And when you hear Scott Likens from Lakes Area Music Festival, he'll talk about that, and that's coming up next. So I just want to also mention that Brainerd Public Schools does have a fund at the foundation with us that supports the 4As, the arts, academics, athletics, and activities. So another way to impact your community up here. Next, we're going to Lakes Area Music Festival with Scott Likens.
Hi, I'm Scott Likens, Artistic and Executive Director of the Lakes Area Music Festival here in the Lakes area. The Lakes Area Music Festival started in 2009 when I invited a few of my college friends here to the area to wait tables, enjoy the lakes, and decided to do some concerts of music as well. And over the past 11 seasons, that has developed into one of the top music festivals in the Midwest. Each year we bring about 200 artists here to the Brainerd Lakes area to collaborate on chamber music, orchestra, opera, and ballet. In addition to that, we have extensive education and outreach programs year-round, which reach thousands of people here in our community throughout the year. Of course, in the situation we are right now, the COVID-19 pandemic has hit arts organizations incredibly hard. The Minnesota Council of Nonprofits has listed the arts as the #1 hit nonprofit industry in the state. And that's not surprising, as we are based on the idea of large gatherings and people coming together to experience live music in the audience, and also based on having large groups of musicians being on stage close together, sitting within an orchestra to make music together. We want to make sure that anything that we do this summer is safe, and so we've been spending the past weeks coming up with programs that can help us continue to extend our mission of accessibility and excellence in classical music throughout this season. Looking at summer 2020, most organizations that do what we do, summer festivals, bringing artists from around the world, have had to announce cancellations for their seasons. However, for the past few weeks and few months since we knew this would be an issue, our board and staff has been carefully considering a number of options of how we could proceed. And so our plan right now is changing almost daily, but we are committed to presenting a 2-week season of concerts running July 31st through August 16th. And all of those concerts will be presented with streaming online. And by moving to online, we're able to still connect with our audience, but we don't have that risk factor of people gathering together and perhaps spreading the virus. And we believe that we'll be able to produce these videos and also expand our education programs in order to engage our audiences and continue to serve our community. In addition, we are considering the possibility of running some live events here in town, but we'll be waiting until July to make those determinations and those announcements as we go. We will be streaming 11 concerts during that time period, so 11 different programs for people to tune in and watch. And we're very excited to be expanding our partnership with Minnesota Public Radio to help spread the word and hopefully actually grow the geography and the size of our audience in this unprecedented season. So through that partnership and others, we're inviting people to share what the Lakes Area Music Festival has to offer, and we hope that you will tune in and join us and share all of that wonderful content with your friends and family this season as well. And we know that once we get through this 12th annual season, we'll be building ahead to our 2021 season, where we'll be celebrating the reunion of artists and audiences in a new home at the Brainerd High School Performing Arts Center. Thanks so much, and we'll see you this summer.
Thank you, Scott. And once again, one of the true gems of our area up here, Lakes Area Music Festival, and our foundation has been a proud sponsor of their summer activities for the last 4 years, and I see us continuing to do that certainly as long as I'm around. So it's a great asset for our community, and we hope if you haven't enjoyed it to take advantage of that, and especially be around for that grand opening of the Performing Arts Center and seeing a performance there. Next up, we're going to hear from Chuck Herrick, the president of the GULL Chain of Lakes Association, or known as GCOLA, and hearing about lake health. So once again, as an environmental ed major, Chuck, appreciate all the work you guys are doing to protect the goose that lays the golden egg for us up here. Chuck Herrick.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, I hope so. I've been the chair for the GULL Chain of Lakes Association now for about 4 years, and we are always very, very busy. And as all of you are experiencing, we're having to work very differently. Go to the next slide, please. Our mission statement, as a reminder, is an alliance of individuals, families, and business owners on the Gull Lake chain in both Cass and Crow Wing counties. Our focus is the restoration and continued preservation of the highest water quality and environmental standards achievable, promotion of responsible use of land and water resources, and then we're also involved with recreational safety on the Gull Lake chain. I'll stay on this slide a minute, but we have approximately 950 Lake Association members right now. Being a 501c organization, we're entirely funded by membership dues and member donations. Our board of directors currently consists of 14 board members and several volunteers working on committees of focus. Like all of you, our board's been challenged to work differently during the pandemic. Some events, such as our annual youth boat safety classes, have been canceled this year. We originally intended to have 3 different dates for those classes, but we'll bring them back next year. We've also had to cancel our annual gala, which is our single fundraising event for GCOLA. This year, it didn't feel right to try to pack 400 people into the event center at Grandview Lodge, number 1. And then number 2, the event is successful based on donations from sponsors, business partners, and it didn't feel right to approach those sponsors, business partners who were so affected economically by the pandemic this year. So next slide, please. what we do. I thought this was an interesting slide and something we haven't shared in past years, but this is kind of a breakdown of what we spend annually, with number one being lake buoys is our biggest annual expense, followed by the AIS prevention. We all know what that is. Education and communication includes our printed quarterly newsletter, hosting a website, Facebook page, any membership dues reminders that we mail out, that type of thing. And then habitat and water quality, which includes shoreline restoration work, loon protection programs, things of that nature. Next. We are responsible for over 100 buoys on the lake chain, which includes installation, maintenance, and removal in the fall of those navigation and no wake buoys. Buoys get moved. Sometimes they get caught on somebody's boat and drug all the way to their boat lift. All those things we get calls about, and we have to make sure they get moved back to their proper location. Any new buoy requests are sent to the Cass County Sheriff Department for approval. We're currently working on replacing some missing no wake signs on the Gull Lake Narrows and Lake Margaret bridges. So watch for those signs to be put up soon. Next slide. AIS, or aquatic hitchhikers. Since Gull Lake sits predominantly in Cass County and partially in Crow Wing counties, we work with both counties and the Lakeshore Police Department to ensure adequate boat inspection hours at our public accesses. We also hire a private firm to inspect 23 sites around the lake chain twice a year to look for any trends in known AIS expansion or new infestations of new AIS. Luckily, we have not had a new infestation for a number of years. Currently, the Gull Lake chain has the following: zebra mussels and curly pondweed. Curly pondweed can be treated with chemicals. There is no known treatment yet for zebra mussels. So this slide really speaks predominantly to the risk of zebra mussels and the importance of clean, drain, dry, and the importance of keeping your outboard motor out of the water. If you're on a boat lift, fishing gear can be impacted, personal watercraft, anything left in the water could be damaged as a result from zebra mussels. On our radar is a AIS species not yet found in our chain, but found in about 12 lakes around Minnesota, which is starry stonewort. It's currently on Lake Coronis, and they're spending north of $100,000 every year just to treat that infestation. It's much worse than even Eurasian milfoil. You cannot boat through it, and so we're keeping an eye and doing all we can to ensure we don't bring that in. Next slide. Our Lake Steward program is part of our Habitat and Water Quality Project. This program is designed to encourage lakeshore property owners to becoming engaged with shoreline restoration. It's all about appropriately managing land use to reduce pollution entering the lake. Some of that pollution can be caused by lawn fertilizer, can be caused by even gutter runoff into our lakes. So we've initiated this program last year, which is a sign that is posted at the end of your dock if you qualify as being a lake shore or a lake steward. We currently have about 30 people, or excuse me, 36 signed up for the program this year, and our goal is to have 60 signed up by the end of the summer. If you're interested in participating in this, you just go to our website, gcola.org, click Get Involved, and then click Lake Steward Program. Very popular, and it's by far the most successful lakeshore restoration program that we've had. Next. Loon protection is still a very key focus for us. Our captain of this program is Sheila Johnston, and you may have seen her on the front page of the Love of Our Lakes magazine that comes out quarterly. She is affectionately known as the Loon Lady. But one of the new programs we have this year is Getting the Lead Out. It's an education program that's managed by the MPCA, and it's funded by a settlement that came out of the BP oil spill a number of years ago. And the program's, of course, all about promoting the use of non-lead tackle. It would be safer for kids and certainly protects loons from lead poisoning. The challenge with lead-free tackle is finding it in a sporting goods store. So here's a link to where you can find those retailers that sell lead-free tackle through pca.state.mn.us. click Live in Green, then click Travel and Leisure, and then click Non-Toxic Tackle. Next. Another byproduct of fishing is fishing line, and the risk of fishing line floating on the water and ultimately can get tangled around loons and either their legs or their beaks, and this can be fatal, obviously, for a loon. So when you're out on the lake, make sure if you see any floating fishing line to pick it up, and make sure you don't contribute to dropping line into the water. Thank you. We're also partnering with the University of Minnesota, specifically the St. Anthony Falls Laboratory, and also the AIS Research Center, which is a separate campus. We believe the AIS Research Center is our best hope for eradicating AIS, so we provide funding to that. They keep us up to date on progress and things they're doing. And then we're looking at partnering with this St. Anthony Falls Laboratory on a study to look at the effects of boat wakes on shoreline and lake bottoms. Next. Which leads to all about wake awareness. As I mentioned at last year's State of the Lakes meeting, this is getting more and more visibility. The marine industry, local dealers like Nisswa Marine, and our Lake Association is focused on education for safe boating. Some of those things that we want to make sure people are aware of is asking people to be aware of their environment, stay away from shorelines, minimize repetitive passes, and respect the rights of others. It's especially important as the trend in boat sales continues to move towards bigger boats with bigger marine engines. Finally, and not on slides, I just want to mention that we have lots of room for volunteers to serve on any of the topics I've shared, so please connect with us through our website, gcola.org, and click on the tab Get Involved. If you are a GCOLA member and you would like additional information about these programs or others, we encourage you to attend our annual meeting via Zoom, which will be on July 22nd at 7 p.m. We'll be sending a postcard out, mailing a postcard to all our members with information on how and when and the date, and so watch for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. We are a proud member of GCOLA, and we want to thank you and Rosemary for helping to get the word out about this event today. We really appreciate it, and appreciate all the work that you're doing to protect the quality of the water up here. So,
thank you to Sue Friedrich. She's actually our new treasurer and actually put the PowerPoint together for us. So thanks to Sue.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. And good to see you on the list. So I just failed to mention too that the Lakes Area Music Festival does have an agency fund with the foundation. So if you want to contribute to that, like one of our attendees, Ingrid Anderson, has been a big supporter of the Lakes Area Music Festival. So thank you, Ingrid, for helping with that and joining us in that work. GCOLA also has a charitable fund, an agency fund with the Initiative Foundation. So there's a way to support them as well beyond becoming a member. So, okay, next up, we've got Mary Jetland, our own Mary Jetland, who's working with the Gull Lake Sailing School, and she's going to tell you about what's happening there. Mary?
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Chuck. That was a good reminder that I need to send my dues in for GCOLA. So you made a little money today anyway. Yes, the Gull Lake Sailing School, we have been going through quite a few changes, most recently COVID-19, but in the last couple of years, we've gone through quite a few changes as well. We're a full 501c3 nonprofit now. Our biggest goal is growing sailing and friendships on Gull Lake. We've always done a pretty good job of growing friendships. Most of us who have lived on the lake and been affiliated with the sailing school or the Gull Lake Yacht Club have friendships with people all over the country that we've met. And those friendships all started at Gull Lake Yacht Club and Gull Lake Sailing School. Our official name is Gull Lake Sailing School. The Gull Lake Yacht Club represents a group of sailors. So they still exist, but they are a group of sailors, and our organization is the Gull Lake Sailing School. That's a little confusing. But together we've been around since 1947, and we teach sailing normally to youth ages 5 and pretty much 5 to 18. This year with our guidelines, we are not able to do our introduction to sailing class because that requires 2 people in a boat, an instructor with a boat. So we are focusing on our core sailing skills class, and we're able to have 1 student per boat, its own launch dock. The boats will be very clean. We are only teaching 42 students this summer, so 7 students each week with 3 instructors. And so we feel very confident that we're going to be able to provide a safe environment for our youth. Our waterfront director, Josh Sullivan, has really taken the lead in working not only with the state guidelines, but also Lake Minnetonka Sailing School, Wayzata Sailing School, and make sure that we've got some great protocols in place to keep everyone safe and to keep everyone healthy. Josh is a level 3 U.S. sailing certified instructor. We are so fortunate to have him. He comes to us from White Bear Lake and is an excellent sailor, sailed at a national level. He really loves the Brainerd Lakes area, spent a little time at Grandview Lodge growing up. And so the good old draw of the lakes has been very helpful in terms of keeping him engaged. And so I just keep working to have him end up being a full-time resident someday in the Brainerd Lakes area. We also host, in addition to our other classes, we also host the boat safety classes with GULL and with Cass and Crow County. And we were not able to do those classes this year because they take place indoors. They're more PowerPoint focused for the majority of the class, but I know GULL does have an online class for $25 on their website. And because boating is such a big thing this year, we really encourage kids to go on and to take their boat safety certification, and we encourage adults to do it too. I think oftentimes the adults are the worst on the lake, sorry. But you can take that class online, and again, that's through the GULL website. In 2018, we established the Brainerd Lakes Area High School sailing team. That has been a lot of fun to get started. We have students from multiple high schools. I know we have both Pequot and Brainerd High Schools represented on the team currently. We were not able to sail this spring, but we're very hopeful with everything that we have in place that we'll be able to have the students competing in the fall. The whole program, we only charge $150 per student, and so we subsidize that, and we do have scholarships available. The racing team also participates in regattas on Lake Minnetonka, White Bear Lake, the St. Croix, and last year we actually hosted our first regatta on Gull Lake with kids from the cities that came up, and they loved it. We hope we'll be doing a lot more of that type of event in the future. That was also a big hit. Also, like GULL, we are obviously very challenged this year. We survive on our dues and our sailing school, and so our other main event is your typical dinner with a room filled with people. Last year we had a very fun band, and as we got thinking about this year, we asked the county if we could put on a concert on our shore. We are on the east side of Gull Lake. We have an incredible lawn. We have a beautiful dock, and the county was all in favor of it, and we were thrilled. And so we're very quickly, fast and furious, putting together the last details of our summer fundraiser, and it is Hot Fun on the Waterfront, and it will be a concert with the band we brought up last year, which is the Riverside Hitmen. They are so fun. Nobody wanted them to stop last year, so I feel confident that if you come out in your boat you will enjoy the afternoon. The other thing that we've decided to do different this year, even though we're worried about raising enough money for us, we really, as seasonal residents, think it's important that we help out the community with what's going on. I think oftentimes the seasonal residents, hold the community in a even more high esteem, and it means more to all of us because we're multi-generational families oftentimes. And we want to do our part to help the businesses that have struggled and the impact that they've had with the pandemic and having to be closed. And so we spoke with Carl and Terry, and we said, how about if we try to raise some money also for the Brainerd Lakes Area Response Fund. Being involved, I've just been so impressed with how we've been able to help the organizations that have needed the help most, the food shelves, the Y with their emergency daycare, mental health needs that have increased. And so I thought, if we can draw a lot of people out on July 11th, we can hopefully raise some money that we can also make a difference in our community, as well as pay some of our own bills. So that registration will probably go live later this afternoon, and anyone is welcome. There's VIP seating on shore and on our dock area, and then there are general admission tickets. You'll get a wonderful lunch either way, and if you're not in a situation where you can help contribute to our cause, you can still bring your boat out and enjoy that. I've done that multiple times on Lake Minnetonka, and those are very fun concerts, and it's a fun way to make money. Who knows, maybe it's something that we'll keep doing in the future if it goes well. We do have a backup day of August 1st if we have bad weather on the 11th. And so we're hoping it'll be a nice day. We're hoping people will come and join us, and I think it'll be a fun afternoon. So that's what's going on at GLSS.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Mary. And thanks for all you do for the kids and helping get that started, and for all you've done for the foundation and service on our board. We really appreciate also being a fund holder in honor of your brother as well. It's a great tribute. So we're also a proud sponsor of that event. So thank you for considering our response fund to our community at the same time. So next up, I'd like to welcome Stefan and Rickon Johnson from the Brainerd Lakes Rowing Club. So welcome.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Terry, for inviting us to participate in this. We are, I think, the newcomers to the group. The sailing school is 73 years old. We are about 3 months old. We incorporated early this year, got 501c3 status in May. So we're delighted to introduce you all to the area's newest club, the Brainerd Lakes Rowing Club. We are really struck by how in the Minnesota area there are a couple dozen rowing clubs, but until now the state's premier lakes area hasn't had one, and so it's our goal to change that. And we're very much in the building mode, building awareness. You may have seen the article about us in the Lakes Country Journal, working to identify a fleet of boats, looking down the road for coaches. But we're delighted to be a part of this and to introduce you to the Brainerd Lakes Rowing Club. I will turn it over to our Vice President, Rickon Johnson, who will tell you about why you might want to consider rowing.
Yeah, so rowing is really an amazing sport. I've done it for 4 years in high school. I'm planning on doing it in college. It's a great way to get in shape. Whether you're a teenager or you're 80 years old, it really lasts a lifetime. It's incredibly easy on the body when done right. So you actually see people who are in their 80s still out on the water rowing every morning. It has really good fitness and health benefits. It's really good all-around fitness. It's cardio and it's also strength work. And also, it's a really great team sport. The goal in a boat is for everybody to be doing the same thing together, to be working together. And that really creates a community around the sport that you can't really get or I haven't seen in many other sports.
We have a twofold vision, a twofold mission. The first is to support recreational rowing for all ages and abilities, to teach rowing to everyone we can, including people who are seasonal or resort visitors in the area. And then the second is to launch over time a competitive junior team to compete against other clubs and to compete in really state and regional and ultimately national regattas. We have a goal of having an annual regatta hosted here locally on Gull Lake. Obviously there are a lot of moving parts involved in that, from identifying coaches and identifying other people who row. So if you know of rowers who either are experienced rowers, or if you know of people who might be interested in rowing, point them our way.
So COVID has, of course, posed challenges and slowed down our progress more than we would like, but we're doing a few things. First, we're offering introductory lessons to people new to the sport, where you can just get out in a boat, kind of learn what it's about, learn what rowing is, and maybe have some fun out on the water. And then we also have an informational meeting on Zoom. This is Saturday, June 27th. And you can go view that on our website at www.brainerdlakesrowing.org.
So thank you for your interest in us. Thank you for letting us participate. As Rickon mentioned, our website is brainerdlakesrowing.org. You can email us at info@brainerdlakesrowing.org. I serve as board chair for the club. Rickon, as I mentioned, is vice president. Paul Sibuzar is our president. Jenny Guthrie, whom you'll be hearing from in a few minutes about the trail initiative, is our treasurer. And we're growing and excited to meet you and excited to meet your friends and family who are interested in learning more about rowing. So the last slide here just has phone numbers. I gather it's going to be posted on the Community Foundation's website. Feel free to contact us through any of those means, and thanks for your time.
It will be, Stefan, and thank you so much to you and Rickon for sharing this and for getting this started, and Paul and Jenny for your work as well. So it's a wonderful addition to the opportunities available around Gull Lake. So just a reminder, there is that Q&A tab at the bottom, attendees. So if you want to type in any questions, feel free to type that in. Participants kind of watch that. If it's directed to you, you can actually even answer that question online by tapping that Q&A button and doing that. So it's always an option for you. Next up, we're very excited about presenting information on the National Loon Center, another one of those real gem opportunities for the Greater Brainerd Lakes area and the Cross Lake community. So you're going to be hearing, we had Carol on last week and Leah from the Loon Center, and we had some audio trouble, so we pre-recorded it this year just to be sure. So you're going to now see a taped presentation by Carol Henderson and Leah Hegerson. And Leah will be back on. She had to step off for another meeting, but she will be on for the Q&A later. So if you do have any questions, make sure and ask those.
On behalf of the National Loon Center, Leah Hegerson and myself, Carol Henderson, I'd like to bring you up to date on a few tips for living with loons for June in 2020. There are lots of things going on. The loons have been hatching and showing up on our lakes. And this is a lot of excitement for developments, not only for the loons, but also for the National Loon Center. Minnesota obviously is one of the most popular birds we could imagine as our state bird. We have the largest population of common loons in the lower 48 states, and we intend to keep it that way. We had a big survey done, a breeding bird atlas from 2009 to 2014 that documented the distribution of loons in Minnesota. You can see that they are found nesting all the way from Lakeville area, south of the Twin Cities, up to the Canadian border. One of the things that you can do on behalf of our loons would be to sign up for the Minnesota Loon Monitoring Program. This is a special program designed in 1994 to keep track of loon population trends. This was done through the DNR Non-Game Wildlife Program. You can simply Google Minnesota Loon Monitoring Program, their webpage, and you can sign up. And the survey period is from the last week of June through the first week of July. There are 6 different areas where each area has 100 lakes that volunteers need to cover. As of a week ago, we still had 109 lakes out of 600 lakes that need volunteers to cover those lakes. Some of the lakes go all the way from the Wilmer area down in Kandiyohi County up through Itasca County, Cook and Lake County, and of course, right in central Minnesota in the Aiken-Crow Wing County area. These are randomly selected lakes where when we do counts on these lakes every year, we can get a good long-term trend. In what's happening to the loons. Here's a diagram showing results since 1994, showing how we have the percentage of lakes with loons diagram, and that lowest line with the dots started out at about 30%. That's down in the Kandiyohi County area. And you can see that over the years, there's been really an improvement in water quality and an improvement in the numbers of loons. To the farther north, many of the areas are remaining fairly stable. So if you want to have a big adventure, it's usually a one-day trip to one of these special lakes, and you can meet some new people, get out on some new lakes, and check out the loons. Number 2, support your Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. They have a revitalized Get the Lead Out campaign to help our loons avoid lead poisoning. This is being developed with remediation money from the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, with funding coming to Minnesota for the next 3 years to help reduce the loss of loons. We have about 30 loons that are turned in every year that are lead poisoned, and I'm sure the number lost in the state is probably much greater than that. And with further developments, we should have lead tackle exchanges occurring at some of our local bait shops and sporting goods stores to help promote this issue. And we need to remember that one of the best things you can do when you go fishing is to start using a lead-free tackle box. Any jigs and sinkers an ounce or less in weight are dangerous to the loons. So with that $1.2 million of remediation funds, this is a unique program in the whole United States where we will be hopefully getting started very soon. Unfortunately, the hiring freeze that was initiated back in March because of the coronavirus has prevented the hiring of the 2 people who are supposed to lead this program. So we are hoping that the hiring freeze will be lifted very soon so we can proceed with the program as planned. So watch for developments on this. Loons, in some ways, are like a chicken in that they need little pebbles to grind up the food they eat. In this case, these are pebbles actually from the gizzard of a loon. And look, there's a lead sinker that killed the loon. It only takes 1 split shot or a sinker to kill a loon. They dive to the bottom, they pick up these pebbles, and they usually have 2 or 3 dozen of these little pebbles in their gizzard. And if they accidentally pick up even 1 piece of lead, they die. And this is why we need to create an awareness among anglers that this is something that's no longer necessary, because we have more and more alternatives coming up in the way of alternative tackle. This is an x-ray of a loon that died because it actually ate a whole fishing set. It has the hook, line, and sinker, so to speak, because it must have tried to catch a minnow that someone was fishing with. And sometimes they become entangled in this fishing tackle and are unable to feed. So don't throw your extra fishing line in the water, take it home, destroy it. And also, if a loon does become entangled, it needs to be captured and then taken to a wildlife rehab center for a rescue operation. Unfortunately, we have loons that show up every year that have died for various reasons, and lead poisoning is one of the top 3 reasons that loons die in Minnesota, and that loss is totally avoidable. So keep your eyes out for get the lead out, tackle exchanges. This is going to be a very big step in helping move toward lead-free fishing. We're using small jigs and sinkers that will not poison the loons. And this is a great way to get children involved with fishing and loon appreciation as well, because they certainly don't want to be poisoning our state bird either. And there are many different companies that are now responding to this problem. And if you go to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency website at Get the Lead Out, it lists over 50 businesses that manufacture non-toxic small jigs and sinkers, 1 ounce or less. Many of them are based right here in Minnesota. So check them out. They need your support, and buy some as gifts for your angler friends and family. The other thing you might try is go jig and sinker shopping. Ask your local bait shop salespeople or local sporting goods store people and managers to see their loon-safe, lead-free jigs and sinkers. In many cases, they won't have a clue what you're talking about. There's not been a very good effort to promote this in the fishing industry. And before the prices can go down on this, we need to develop a much larger market. Number 4, support state legislation to require the use of non-toxic small jigs and sinkers of 1 ounce or less. This is not unrealistic. There are 6 states that have all taken legislative action to save loons. New Hampshire, New York, and Maine, they have prohibited the sale of jigs and sinkers that are lead or the use and sale, in case of Maine, smaller than 2.5 inches long or less than 1 ounce. Also, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Washington have also taken actions. In Washington, lead sinkers and jigs are prohibited on lakes used by loons. So all of this has happened, but nothing yet has happened legislatively in the Midwest or in Minnesota. There were efforts to get this started this year. House File 3825, eliminate use of lead in small fishing jigs and sinkers. It was moving forward well in the House, but it stopped moving and got little support in the Senate. So I guess you could say the current status on that one for this year is dead in the water. Express your support and appreciation to outdoor writers who advocate non-toxic jigs and sinkers. One of our writers in Minnesota with the Star Tribune, Dennis Anderson, has taken an important stand, realizing that not only is this a problem for loons, but it's also a problem for humans associated with manufacturing lead tackle, like with the problems that have shown up with the water gremlin company. So lead is also really bad for people. It's a toxic, neurotoxic poison. Here's another article, getting the lead out. In some cases, tungsten jigs have actual advantages over lead. And this is becoming more popular, not only in summer, but also for ice fishing. Here are some of the companies that have moved ahead and started coming out with non-toxic jigs and sinkers. Dr. Drop. Here's Northland Tackle, Minnesota-based. Also, Brainerd's in Minnesota. They have all kinds of jigs available. Here's Acme, hammered tungsten jigs. And all of these are available, but you have to really look or go online to find where you can get them. And the final thing that I'll recommend is that you need to take the time to go out and enjoy the loons. Right now, they're out there with their families. Do this at a respectable distance for maybe a couple hundred feet. You can kind of learn to read the loon's behavior. If they're bothered by you, they will swim away. They'll avoid you. Some loons are very accustomed to people, and they can be approached quietly and very easily, but not too close. You don't want the loons to be exposed to danger, and you don't want to scare loons off their nest because crows, ravens, or gulls can fly down immediately and break the eggs, and the chicks could be lost for the year. And the other thing is that it is enjoyable to photograph the loons, to see them, to take people out and enjoy the state bird. But the other thing is that the most traumatic weekend of the year for loons is 4th of July weekend. This is when we have a lot of people out on the lakes, and we have a problem that weekend with people running over loons and loon chicks by speedboats or boats that are not watching where they're going in terms of where the loons are. So give the loons a break whenever you're out, but especially 4th of July weekend, spread the word that the loons need our concern and safety as well. So enjoy the loons, take some time to enjoy them, and we hope that these 6 tips will give you some ideas on how you can help improve the status of loons in the state and keep them as abundant as they have been for many years. Thank you very much. This is Carol Henderson, and I appreciate the opportunity to cooperate with the National Loon Center as one of their board members to promote loon conservation. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Hi, I'm Leah Hagerston from the National Loon Center. Carol Henderson is on our board of directors as well. Matt Killian, another local name, is from the Brainerd Lakes Area Chamber of Commerce. They have pledged to be our operator for the future National Loon Center. I just want to say a little bit about Carol and thank him. He is he's a famous loon researcher, if you don't know this, educator, conservationist, and he's been internationally recognized. He is the creator of the DNR's non-game wildlife program, created it back in 1977. He's written 13 books, and most recently his claim to fame was bringing $7 million from the British petroleum oil spill to our state to help for loon survival. I want to give you a little update on the Loon Center. 2020 has been a very tough year for all of us, for our country, for our world. But we are staying true to our mission at the Loon Center, focusing on the environment, our state bird, and fresh water. 3 quick updates. We are currently finishing our curriculum with the University of Minnesota. Thank you, University of Minnesota. And now working with the local Small Business Development Center at CLC to move forward with our business plan. Pending approvals, we hope to begin our outdoor initiatives, which is a huge shoreline restoration project, boardwalk, outdoor exhibits, with many of the practices that Carol just spoke about as outdoor interactive exhibits. Also fun is we are fundraising, and we just got our first major gift from Margaret A. Cargill. And so that was a big deal because we do need matching funds for our $4 million state fund. I'm going to end with thanking the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation for this opportunity and play our video for you so that you can get an idea of what we've been up to and where we're going.
The loon is a call for change. Scientists say that loons might not exist in Minnesota 50 years from now if we don't start making some changes today. Did you know the quality of our lake water has steadily declined over the past 50 years? Loons need clean, fresh water to survive and thrive. We all do. The National Loon Center will help all of us become leaders for loon preservation and freshwater conservation.
The National Loon Center will be a place of discovery through hands-on learning. Interactive exhibits in and around the center will inspire visitors to help protect loons and our freshwater ecosystems. The University of Minnesota will help create research and educational experiences through citizen science, including a floating classroom. The center will house the Scientific Loon Council and the National Freshwater Institute. These initiatives will bring together the brightest minds from across the country to find solutions that tackle threats to loons and freshwater. Families, nature enthusiasts, and scientists will have access to more than 1,000 feet of protected shoreline on the beautiful Whitefish chain of lakes in Cross Lake, Minnesota. This popular recreation area is projected to see 200,000 visitors each year once the center is built. Plus, millions of people will be engaged online. The The National Loon Center Foundation has received $4 million from the state of Minnesota, a $2 million federal in-kind lease, and $1 million from community contributions to help build the center. However, $6 million from corporate and foundation sponsors is still needed.
You can make a difference. You can help protect our loons, preserve our lakes, and inspire the next generation of conservationists. Donate today and help us answer the call of the loon.
There's another great opportunity for philanthropy at work. So Leah had to step off. She'll be coming back on. So we saw a question for her that we'll make sure she sees. It was about exchange of tackle, and that is available, and we'll get that information out. So we're going to hear now a video from Matt Killian, a former coworker of mine, on a project going on at Brainerd Lakes Chamber called Lake Country Cares to keep you and the employees of businesses safe. And we're a proud sponsor, again, through a grant to this program. So go ahead, Terry.
Well, hi, everyone. Matt Killian here with the Brainerd Lakes Chamber of Commerce. Welcome back. Welcome back to our wonderful community here. I know a number of you have been here for several weeks now, and now we're getting to the point where we're looking forward to summer and the warm weather and the water and all the memories that we're going to make with family and friends. And I just wanted to say on behalf of our business community and on behalf of our community, we feel like you're such an important part of this area, the same way that our local residents are. You get involved, you give back, you support our local businesses and organizations, and I just want to say thank you for doing that, because it means a lot, and you're a big part of the Lakes area. I also got to say thank you to the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation for their tremendous work in supporting just a variety of different organizations and projects, and for pulling these groups together like we are today. It means a lot to have people connected. So I wanted to give you a quick update on a project that we're launching now that I'm particularly proud of, and it's a COVID-19 safety campaign called Lake Country Cares. So you can find more information about it at lakecountrycares.com. It's really about welcoming our customers back and rebuilding customer confidence within our local residents as well as our visitors. You know, people have different views on the crisis, on safety, and we just feel like in order to recover as quickly as possible, we need to focus on the consumer. And in order to do that, we have to send a unified safety message so people feel safe when they come back to different businesses. So we've done that by adopting and promoting 3 CDC guidelines that we've essentially rebranded. So they kind of look up north, they're kind of like Paul Bunyan. And the 3 best practices are to breathe safely, to touch safely, and to walk safely. So breathe safely is about wearing masks, and about barriers and shields and things of that nature. The touch safely is about hand washing and surface sanitation. And then walk safely is about social distancing. And instead of 6 feet apart, we say stay 2 axe handles apart from other lumberjacks. So you can see how some of the kind of the up north tourism messages are embedded in the campaign. So you'll see this marketing start appearing on a lot of different businesses that you frequent, as well as some radio advertising, some billboards, some digital advertising, just to send that message. Nowhere in the state is this happening but for the Brainerd Lakes area, and that's because of the partnerships that we have. So number one is with our business community. More than 100 businesses have already shared their COVID-19 preparedness plans that are required by the state, and those are going on our website, lakecountrycares.com, so that when they publicly share those, they can find consumers that can just go right onto that website, search those plans, and consumers can see exactly what that business is doing. And then we also have a whole bunch of partners locally, lots of cities, Crow Wing County, the 3 healthcare providers, the hospitals in town, 5 area chambers, the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation, and other funders as well. And that's what's making that campaign more powerful. So if you go on the website, you can find ways that you can participate in that, help us spread the word. You can also buy some pretty cool plaid masks that are all the rage right now, lots of different colors and styles. So check that out, lakecountrycares.com. And that's it for me. Enjoy the summer, enjoy our businesses, and hope to see you around the Brainerd Lakes area very soon. Catch you later. Bye.
Well, thanks to Matt for that. And I happen to be modeling one of those masks. So they come in 5 different colors: lime green, blue, orange, the classic red and black buffalo plaid, and a hot pink. So you're welcome to get those. And they're manufactured by one of our local dance costume manufacturing company that converted over to making masks during the COVID situation. Next up, we have our friends Marla Yoho and Jenny Gunsberry from the Fairview Township Trail Advisory Committee. And Marla actually works for Fairview Township as a clerk. And they're going to tell us about the entire Gull Lake Trail and then also specifically what's going on in Fairview Township. And there are a couple of different trail funds with us right now. So next up, Marla and Jenny.
Thank you, Carl. We're really excited to be part of this event in the company of all these other wonderful organizations that make this a great place to live, work, and visit, of course. So thank you to the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation for sponsoring this event, hosting it. So Marla's going to give you a little bit of background about kind of when this trail idea started.
Well, East Gull Lake started working on their trails way back in 2003, but it wasn't until 2010 that the cities of East Gull Lake, Lakeshore, Nisswa, and Fairview joined together to create a trail system. And the premise of this agreement was not to only enhance the enjoyment of the beautiful lakes area that we all live in by both residents and visitors, but to create a safe path for recreation in an area where there are no sidewalks and recreationists must travel along the edge of the very busy County Road 77 where traffic rushes past you at 60 miles an hour. So in 2017, Lakeshore created the Gull Lake Trail Master Plan, which encompassed 21 miles of paved trails, and it became our guideline and basis for multiple grant applications. In the winter of 2017, Jenny and I made a proposal to the Fairview Township Board where we asked for approval to move ahead with plans to create a trail that would connect the already existing trail in East Gull Lake, which you can see down there in yellow, and I forgot where I was, to the existing trail in the proposed trail in Lakeshore, which is the pink trail up above. The board gave their approval with the admonition that no property tax dollars were to be used for the trail. They did, however, commit $49,000 that was in the Community Projects Fund as seed money. With that money, we went to Bolton and Mink engineering firm and we got an estimate of the anticipated cost. And that 2017 projected cost was $1,717,900 for a 10-foot wide paved trail. At that time, we received permission from the Cass County Commissioners and Highway Department to construct the trail within their right-of-way along County Road 77, which saved us thousands and thousands of dollars in obtaining easements from private property owners. We immediately started applying for grants from various organizations with primary emphasis on the DNR Regional Grant Program, the DNR Federal Grant Program, and the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Trails Program. And in order to qualify for these loans, we had to provide assurance that we would have 25% in matching funds. So to reach that goal, we were able to acquire a $180,000 grant from Cass County Fund 73. We had to impart on several private fundraising projects. We have a small population of less than 900 people, so we knew our fundraising would have to stretch beyond our borders and reach out to the surrounding communities and to the recreators and businesses who would be enhanced by this trail. Besides helping us acquire a grant for $2,500, Don Hickman at the Initiative Foundation suggested we contact the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation. Carl explained the advantages of the tax-deductible donations and how they could be aimed at just a specific purpose, such as our trail. And Carl joined us for several community meetings and a very successful Pints for a Purpose at the Jack Prime Brewery. We ultimately raised over $34,000 in our community foundation account and over $7,000 in cash and other donations. These funds aided us as we applied for the various grants, and we ultimately were awarded $250,000 in DNR regional and federal trail grants and another $1,206,931 from the Greater Minnesota Regional Parks and Trails, which is part of the Legacy Fund. So now we've raised a total of $1,639,431 just in grants. Once we had the funding fairly secured, we moved ahead with the plans. And over the last year or so, we submitted wetland delineations, archaeological surveys, and many other environmental reports to the state and the DNR, and we received their environmental approval. Fulton and Mank has worked diligently to compile the 200+ page plan, but unfortunately, as the COVID-19 restrictions have limited work collaborations, the plans took longer than anticipated to not only be constructed or compiled, but to be reviewed by the county and the other organizations that have say over all of these different lands. But the finish line is now in view. We are now waiting for approval of some easement documents with the state, and we expect to be going out for bid on this project in mid-July. Depending on what the workloads are with the various companies who may bid on this project, we could see clearing and grubbing start as early as August. And we would love to see construction completed late this fall, but landscaping and finishing projects might extend into the spring of 2021. We've been very successful in acquiring grants for this trail, but we're continuing with our fundraising. As we know, our estimated construction costs are based on an estimate from 2017. And we've had countless expenses for environmental studies and permits, which cannot be covered by grant dollars. From 2003 through 2011, East Gull Lake completed the construction of 8.9 miles of trail that extends from the Gull Lake Dam and through various routes within their city. The city of Lakeshore worked in conjunction with the Cass County Highway Department in 2017 and 18 to rework about 3.4 miles of County 77 from Bar Harbor to the northern border of Fairview Township. The addition of an on-land and shared road trail was part of that program. But we want to note that the Fairview Trail will be all off-road. There will not be a shared road as you see sometimes in Lakeshore. Lakeshore and Nisswa have joined together to complete the final segment of that 21-mile trail system, which should ultimately connect with the Paul Bunyan Trail. That final segment of the trail has a cost projection of $3,537,000. And the Lakeshore portion, which is approximately $1.5 million, they've just been awarded a $425,000 federal grant as their matching funds. And Nisswa has been able to raise $416,000 in donations and grants. Jenny, you can talk about our committee, which you see there in front of the rock.
So we've had a committee working with us on this project. Not all of them are in that photo, but we're working hard, but we still have a lot of fun. As you can see, we painted the rock, I think there was 2 summers ago, just to show people, that the project is going on, and hopefully they would want to get involved or get excited about it. And so we're looking forward to this July when the project will be out for bid, and like Marla said, hopefully start construction in August. And as she mentioned, there's some expenses that aren't covered by our grant funds. So there's an opportunity to donate through the Brainerd Lakes Area Community Foundation on their community giving site. We do have some things we're giving away for different donation levels. There's some neat ceramic mugs with the logo engraved on them. And we also have some fleece throws that are available for a higher level of giving. And we also have a pledge form that hopefully will be available on the site after this presentation. Well, we thank you for the opportunity to let us tell you about the Gull Lake Trail, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jenny and Marla. It's awesome. That'll be another great asset for the Gull Lake area once that's completed. So we appreciate all your work on that. Yeah, just a reminder, I'll kind of go back at the end and share some information about the opportunities for donating to the various things you've heard about today. But it's a great way to help make that move forward. Next, we're going to hear from Maida Agri. Maida is the Director of Programming and Hill Operations at Mount Ski Gull, another one of those gems on Gull Lake. So, Maida.
Good morning. My name is Maida Agri, and I'm the General Manager out at Mount Ski Gull. We are located on the west side of Gull Lake and have been in the area for 58 years. We operate a small nonprofit ski hill that has skiing, snowboarding, youth programming, and tubing all in one. As a nonprofit, our mission is to provide affordable outdoor programming and opportunities with an emphasis on snow sports that help build character building skills and a healthy lifestyle for the youth in our area. Every year, we run a Learn to Ski program that teaches over 1,000 of our local sixth graders each year how to ski. That's something that we're really proud of around here. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the capital improvements that we have had happen in the last couple of years here. Good morning. My name is Maida Egg. In the last 2 years, specifically in the last year, we have gone through a lot of capital improvements here at Mount Ski Gull, and we still have a lot more to come. In the fall of 2018, we installed a 200-foot magic carpet on our bunny hill. The magic carpet is a lift for beginners primarily that helps get you up the hill a lot easier than a tow rope. It's been a great success for us and has been super helpful for all of our youth programming and our guests here at the hill. Also in the fall of 2018 and then leading into the spring of 2019, we launched the start of our capital campaign. So our capital campaign has 3 phases, and we were able to complete phase 1 here in the fall of 2019. So in the fall of 2019, you'll see starting with the picture on the far left-hand corner, we installed a 700-foot magic carpet on our tubing hill. With an awesome group of staff and volunteers, we were able to complete this project. The reason we chose this as part of our phase 1 was in order to increase the capacity that we have on our tubing hill and make it one of the greatest ones in the state, if not the whole Midwest. So we installed that magic carpet, and there was a couple other things that went along with that as increasing our capacity on our tubing hill. So with the magic carpet, we were able to get people up the hill a lot faster, and we needed to get people down the hill faster as well. So we purchased a tube shaper. That's the picture up in the right-hand corner. It attaches to our grooming machine, and it formulates individual lanes. So instead of having just 3 lanes, we now have 6 lanes on our tubing hill. And then with the conveyor system going up, instead of only having about 25 people on the lift at a time, we can now have up to 70 people, which increases our overall tubing hill capacity from about 85 people to 140. So we had a really successful winter on our tubing hill, and we're really excited for another one. And then the final thing that came with this project was to increase our snowmaking capacity. And so we purchased a SnowMax system that really helps formulate our snow and makes it more efficient for us and easier for not just for snowmaking, but also for grooming our hill and then making the snow a little bit softer and safer for everybody skiing on it. In the last things that we need in order for our hill operations staff to run an exceptional hill, improved lighting on the hill, parking lot being paved, and more storage. And then comes phase 3. Phase 3 is our new chalet. We are pretty much at capacity here at Mount Ski Gull with our current chalet, and a new chalet would help us gain more space when it comes to storage, food and beverage, give us opportunities to continue to grow with the events that we host, and it would give us a whole new look here at Mount Ski Gull. Obviously, the new septic system is a precursor in order for that new chalet. So to conclude, that is where we are at here at Mount Ski Gull. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or send me an email. We'd love to talk. Thanks.
Okay, thanks from Maida. Mount Ski Gull also has an agency fund with us, another opportunity to contribute. So we appreciate that. Next, we're going to hear from Sean Bailey, the chief, and Justin Stanke, the captain of the Nisswa Police Department, on some safety tips.
Hello, I'm Sean, the Nisswa Fire Chief.
And I'm Justin, a captain with the Nisswa Fire Department.
Today I'd like to do a little overview of what's going on in Nisswa Fire Department. Hello. I'm Sean, the Nisswa.
Terry, do you need some time to work on that?
No, just give me 2 seconds here and I am going to.
One of the joys of virtuals.
Yeah. Just have to get rid of a couple of things here. Okay, there we go.
I'd like to do a little overview of what's going on in Nisswa Fire Department. Today we have 25 highly trained, dedicated professionals working for us. We're just regular people. We volunteer for our city and we're out to help people in their time of need. Our ISO rating is a 6 in the city of Nisswa, Lakeshore, Lake Edwards, Sibley, and Pelican are the townships that we cover. Our coverage area is about 75 square miles, which 9 months out of the year has about 5,000 people in it. 3 months out of the year, we have about 15,000 people. We do have 3 fire stations that we cover. One's on Main Street in Nisswa. We have one in Lake Edwards Township and one in Lakeshore. Last year in 2019, we did 337 calls, which 254 of those calls were medical calls. And the rest, the other 83 were fire-related calls. And of that 83, we did have 10 structure fires and 9 brush fires. Our roster, like you said, consists of 25. We have myself and 4 command staff, and the other 20 members are at least EMR certified. We do have 4 EMTs and 1 paramedic on our roster. We cover quite a few public events and education. The big thing this year we've done is a birthday salute during the COVID and the Stay-at-Home Order Act. We had requests of birthdays that are going on. So basically what we did was go out with all of our trucks and make someone's day special, give them a little personal parade. It was a big hit. All in all, in the month and a half that we did about 36 of them, and it seemed to be a huge hit in the community. Another event we do is an ice fishing derby. We do that in February. That's our biggest fundraiser. And then we do a fire awareness for the Nisswa Elementary School during Fire Safety Week in October. We also do our annual open house in October. We've started doing this Feed My Children thing where we go package meals, and that's been a really good deal. Last year we invited a Mission Fire Department to join us, and it was a huge hit. I think we did something like 18,000 meals in a 2.5-hour period. It was a great success and we all loved it. We also sponsor a haunted barn and hay rides, and obviously Halloween time, it's a really good time that we give all that money back to the community. And we also have a pancake breakfast. Our big excitement this year is July 3rd at 7 p.m. downtown Nisswa. We're going to do a birthday salute to the United States of America. So basically we're lining up our trucks, we're calling it a birthday salute, and we're parading right down Main Street. We'd like to welcome everybody to come out. We feel that's going to be the biggest event that we do this year. Training highlights, we do quite a bit of training. In 2019, I did 3 live house burns with the guys, ice rescue, hazardous environment training, forcible entry, roof ventilation, pump operation and water supply, drivers and operations, and vehicle extrication. And then we do all of our medical training also.
So a few of the things that we're looking to do to improve our situation here at the Nisswa Fire Department, we're dealing with an out-of-date old SCBA refilling station. And what the refilling station is it's what we use to refill the air bottles that give us the air that we need to breathe when we're working within a fire environment. The filling station that we have now really only allows us to fill the bottles to a 75% capacity, which is basically limiting the time that the guys can work within the environment that we work in. So by getting a new cascade system, as they call it, it would allow us to fill those bottles to their full capacity and be able to work longer within a structure fire environment. So that's one of the things that would be really helpful to us to have a new system for that. We're also dealing with our brush truck, which is the truck that we use for a lot of different purposes. Actually, primarily we use it for wildland fire type applications, and also we use it for some utility stuff, for ice rescue, things like that. We're using that truck during the winter time. It provides a lot of different functions here at the department. That truck is getting older. It's probably served its useful life here. It would be nice if we had a little bigger cab. We can actually get more crew out to either the wildland fire that we're using it for, or the ice rescue that we use it for in the wintertime. So that's a couple of the needs that are immediate that we're looking towards better equipping us here to do our jobs.
So here's some safety things just to return to the cabin when you're coming up from wherever you're coming from to your cabins, just some things to look at. Always make sure that your fire number is visible. If it's missing, please contact the county and they can help you replace that. We need to make sure it is visible. That's a huge thing. These medical calls, if we can't find you, we can't help. So the sooner we can get your fire numbers updated and visible, it'd make our lives a lot simpler. Smoke detector and carbon monoxide, just keep in mind to make sure you change the batteries when you get here, because I'm sure it's been 6 months since you've been here. And then smoke detectors after 10 years, let's get those changed out completely, and carbon monoxide detectors every 5 to 6 years. And then do a self-test on them to make sure these things work. Fire extinguishers, please make sure that your fire extinguishers are up to date. If they've been sitting around, just check the little tag on them, make sure they're good. We want to make sure you have one in the kitchen and then nearby heat sources, and then on each floor of your cabin and also in your garage. So just make sure they're up to date. Inspect your utility rooms for power source problems. Mice get into these places in the winter when they're closed up. If you have some breakers that are tripped, maybe have an electrician come out and check that out. That would be great. Just some things to look at. If it doesn't look right, call somebody. Inspecting and cleaning your pilot lights. Pilot lights sit off all winter long. If they're dirty, nasty yellow, call a furnace guy in and have them clean up your pilots and check your gas burning appliances. That'd be great. And then campfire safety. Here's a big one for us. When you're done with your campfire, please make sure it's out. Because if it's windy and the wind picks up and it can rekindle, next thing you know, you could have a grass fire, and then that's trouble. So when you're done, take a few buckets of water, dump it in there, shovel it around, make sure it's out.
Even if green up a lot, that's been dry.
Yes, very dry up here. And then please make sure you have an escape plan for your cabin. Have a meeting place outside, that would be great. So we need your support. We're looking at a shortfall in our budget of about $100,000 to update our cascade system and our grass truck. So we're just looking for support from the community. If we could get some support, that would be great. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. we enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you to Sean and Justin for that report and those tips. So, and Nisswa Fire Department does have an agency fund at our foundation. So another one of those ways you can contribute. I've got about 3-4 minutes of really quick stuff I want to cover with you. We want you to know first that we put some information on the chat bar. So if you go to the bottom and hit chat, you can find Amy posted the website on how to order the masks. If you like those buffalo plaid masks, I put information on there about the Get the Lead Out program, the site you can go to for that, and information on exchanging tackle. We put Marla's email on there for Fairview Township if you want to get one of the pledge forms. Somebody asked about that. And so far, I haven't seen any other questions. So you still have time for that. So quickly, we do have a response fund to the COVID-19 impact on the community up here. And we're addressing, we just made 4 grants yesterday. So we're up to now about $90,000 in response grants that we've made to address issues around daycare and food insecurity. So we supported the YMCA day camp, but we made that so quick, our board responded immediately, and we got the money to the Y to start their day camp for essential workers. And then they have combined and worked with the outreach program out of Nisswa. And by the way, both those organizations have funds with us as well. So they're great organizations that deserve support. But the outreach program in Nisswa, the former Kids Against Hunger, is doing an incredible job of feeding, getting food out around our community into the food shelves, and it's being distributed through the Y, et cetera. So there's just different organizations that have received meal money. We supported a Ruby's Pantry distribution on June 9th. So go ahead, next slide. We're also doing grants for mental health and wellness support. So we're supporting with this extra stress. Everything we are hearing is up about 25 to 30%, whether it's food needs at the food shelves, mental health calls to the hotlines, domestic violence. That seems to be about the increase since COVID-19. So we're making grants to the crisis line and referral for a hotline, a suicide prevention line, but they're also doing support groups for people in our community, and healthcare workers have been taking advantage of that. There's a lot of stress there, as you heard. Wellness in the Woods provides a warm line support for kind of non-crisis situations, but it's staffed by people who have had and lived mental health experiences, so it's peer-to-peer support. Go ahead, Terry. And then we've also made some grants for emergency and financial crisis for those situations that maybe a car breaks down and somebody can't get to work, or a utility bill is up and they're at risk of losing services or something like that. One of our local businesses, Consolidated Telephone, now CTC, made a $15,000 challenge grant to our community to raise dollars for the response fund. So we're taking dollars still for that. So you can contribute to that at our website, www.communitygiving.org/COVID-19. And then if you just scroll down, you'll see the Brainerd Lakes Area Response Fund. And all the webinars that we've done are also there, which some are very interesting. So go ahead, Terry. So just to let you know about some funds of interest, you heard about the Loon Center, the Initiative Foundation, that fund. They're raising money to create that match for that project. The Gull Lake Trail funds, both Fairview Township and Lakeshore. The Nisswa Lake Park Fund is with us. The Nisswa Fire Department Fund is with us. Mount Ski Gull Fund, Lakes Area Music Festival Foundation Fund. Camp Confidence right on Sylvan Lake has an endowment fund with us. Brainerd Lakes Area Women's Fund. And then once again, you can just see some of those other agency partnerships we have. So you can support a number of different opportunities. We also want to make sure and remind you that GULL has a fund with the Initiative Foundation as well. So you can just contact us. We'll get you in touch with any of those fund holders and help you meet your philanthropic goals. Go ahead, Terry. Just some other ways we help people in our community, help generous people change lives and communities through the funds you saw in the video. So the donor advised funds act like mini family foundations and provide a a much easier family alternative to that. We can do corporate advised funds for business giving, designated funds where folks support specific charities year after year, field of interest funds like our Women's Fund or the Brainerd Public School Foundation are examples of that. Our agency funds, we have about 20 of those now that support different nonprofit groups. Scholarships, primarily through the Brainerd Public School Foundation, but you can do any other school or cause that you choose. And then we can help people set up legacy gifts that can leave a legacy after your passing through a gift, through your bequest. And you know, the other thing that's kind of popular right now in this low interest environment is charitable gift annuities, which will pay sometimes 5-6 times what a CD might pay in a fixed income right now. And then after that pays a lifetime of support, annual income to the person. And then after their passing, they can leave the balance of that to the charity of their choosing. So just different ways that we can help you change lives and communities through your generosity. So go ahead, Terry. So we really appreciate your attending. We want to thank all our presenters for being here today and sharing this information. I'm checking the Q&A box one last time. I don't see it. And so I'm seeing no questions, but there's my contact information. www.communitygiving.org. We're at BLACF. You can see our office phone number there. My email is just ksamp@communitygiving.org or tfoster@communitygiving.org for Terry. And we're here to help you connect with anything that you heard about today or any other questions you have about philanthropy and how we might assist you. So once again, welcome back to our community. We're delighted to have you back. Hope to see you next year live again. And thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody.